What can I say? I just don't like overly oaked Chardonnays from California. I never did. I know a ton of people do, and honestly, I respect that because everyone's preferences and taste buds are different. So if you like that vanilla oaky taste of Chardonnay, like the ones from California, then power to you. For me personally, I always sought something just a little bit lighter and crisper, more mineral from Chardonnays, and I found it. There is that Chardonnay that exists, that is crisp and it's zesty, super mineral driven, and it's called Chablis. Chablis Chardonnay that graduated high school in Burgundy, France, and it is everything I ever looked for in a Chardonnay. So if you want to learn about Chablis, then watch this video until the end, because today I'll cover everything that you need to know in a nutshell about Chablis, from how to pronounce this wonderful wine to what foods pair it with, and also why does it actually taste like a bottled limestone. So yeah, if you want to find out, keep on watching. Welcome back to my wine diary, you guys, your source of wine education and entertainment weekly. So make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want those weekly wine videos coming your way. Let's go ahead and jump in. First of all, what a sad world would that be if there was no wine? Quite honestly, I have no intention of stopping drinking wine anytime soon. This is for fun only. So let's start with some very basic things. What is Chablis exactly? And the first myth that I want to clear up here is that Chablis is just a fancy word for some very generic white wine. That's not true at all. And if you grew up in the United States, you might have seen gallon jugs of white wine that said Chablis on them. Well, that's not the real deal. That's like calling instant ramen some fancy handmade Japanese soba noodles. They kind of look similar, but they're a world apart when it comes to their flavor. To me personally, Chablis is literally sophistication in a glass. So it's very different from what you're used to. And the true Chablis comes from northern Burgundy in France. And here's the kicker. It's made exclusively from Chardonnay grapes. So yes, Chablis is Chardonnay. But before you roll your eyes and say, I already know Chardonnay, hold up. Because Chablis is like that minimalistic cousin of big and buttery California Chardonnay. And imagine if California Chardonnay is wearing Gucci sunglasses and a fur coat, Chablis is wearing a crisp, sophisticated white suit and sipping on some sparkling water with a piece of lemon in it. So similar, yet very different. Chablis tastes extremely unique. And the reason why it tastes so unique is all in geology, baby. It's all because of its terroir, which is the fancy French word for soil, the climate, the sun and the rain, and even the slopes on which the grapes are actually grown. The soil here is truly legendary, that Kimmeridgian limestone filled with fossilized oyster shells from millions of years ago, which is why so many people say that Chablis tastes very minerally, like licking a stone, but in a good way. Or you can also say that it tastes like sipping on an oyster, slurping the oyster without actually slurping the oysters. If you've tried oysters before, you know exactly how the water that sits inside of the oyster tastes like. But if you think about the soil in the region of Chablis, or if you've ever been, that Kimmeridgian limestone, essentially what it looks like is shells in stone. So sometimes there's pieces of shells that are this big. They look like snails that you can find in vineyards in which Chablis is grown. And that is exactly why the wine tastes so minerally and so zesty and crisp, is because of that. Now, when it comes to slopes, the Grand Crus of Chablis come from slopes that are sloped towards the sun. So, you know, that's where you get the most expensive Chablis from. I've mentioned the Grand Cru Chablis to you just a second ago, and it's a perfect time for us to talk about the styles of Chablis, because there is more than one Chablis out there. It's not just one wine. So the four main styles that kind of build themselves up in a hierarchy are these. The first one is Petit Chablis. This is the entry level. It's bright, it's zippy, super fresh, but not overly complicated. The second one is the village wine, Chablis, the classic style, green apple, citrus, and minerality here. The third one is Premier Cru Chablis, so more complexity here, more structure. And the fourth, the top tier, is the Grand Cru Chablis. So this one is rich, it's concentrated, it's super age-worthy. And yes, me personally, I've never tried the Grand Cru Chablis, but I've heard that it does indeed taste like it costs more than my monthly utility bill. Now the flavor profile, what does Chablis actually taste like and what should you expect from a Chablis poured in a glass? So here, picture this: fresh green apple, lemon zest, sometimes a touch of pear or white flowers, but the main vibe is really freshness and minerality. It's clean, it's crisp, and it's refreshing. So remember that Chablis, unlike a lot of Chardonnays, are not aged in oak barrels, or they're aged for a very brief period of time. So they won't have any of those vanilla notes or even tobacco notes to them that we get from oak aging, say Chardonnay from California, for example. So it's basically a Chardonnay that's stripped to its birthday suit. Scandalous, I know. This pure unoaked freshness, what do we actually eat with Chablis? Well, get ready, because Chablis loves company, and here are some foods that go really, really well with it. We'll start with oysters and shellfish. Clearly, minerality is already in Chablis, so that will go well with it. Sushi, goat cheese, how about that one? Roast chicken or salad. So basically, if it swims, if it flies, or if it comes from France, it will go well with Chablis, except for escargot. Don't ask me why. I've tried it personally. I hated it, and I don't think it goes well together with Chablis. Now let's go over how to serve and age Chablis. When it comes to serving temperatures, you want to serve Chablis chilled but not frozen. So think 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, or 46 to 50 degrees for my Fahrenheit friends. Now, another pro tip is to not grab the small glass for Chablis. Make sure to give it some room to breathe. I think that even Petit Chablis deserves some dignity, so grab a bigger glass and make sure to aerate your wine a little bit before you drink it to really open up the aromas. That is actually the reason why you don't want to over chill it when you serve it too. You don't want to kill those aromas. You don't want to kill the flavors by having the wine that's way too cold. And if you're ever served Chablis that's just frozen in a glass in a restaurant, for example, take it in your hands and just warm it up a little bit to really let those aromas open up. When it comes to aging Chablis though, I think that when it comes to the village wine or even Petit Chablis, they're not really age-worthy in my personal opinion. But when it comes to the good stuff, so the Premier Cru and the Grand Cru, yes, here we're talking some really age-worthy wines, and not just a few years. We're talking 10 to 20 years they can age, and you can absolutely go ahead and store those wines for a couple of decades. But if you're like me and you have a willpower of a hungry raccoon and you just want to chug your wine now, then grab 2 bottles. So if you're drinking Grand Cru or Premier Cru, just buy 2 bottles, drink one now, and then age one for later. You guys know that I like throwing some fun facts at you at every video that I film. So here you go, some fun facts about Chablis that you can throw at your friends at your next dinner party. Number 1 is that Chablis region is closer to Champagne in France than it is to the rest of Burgundy, which is kind of interesting geographically. Number 2, the locals call Chablis vin de cailloux, which means wine of pebbles. Pretty cool thing. And then the third one is that during harsh frosts in Burgundy, winemakers light up candles, especially for the nighttime, around the vineyards to keep the grapes warm. And that is just so romantic, I think, unless of course you're the one who has to get up at 3 a.m. and light up thousands of candles around the vineyards. But if you Google pictures of Burgundy wines warmed up by candles, you will see some really neat pictures, so go ahead and do it. So here you have it, Chablis wine in a nutshell, explained, explored, and hopefully made a little more entertaining for you guys. I think Chablis is a good proof that Chardonnay can be zesty, crisp, and super mineral driven. But what I'm curious to know, down below in the comments, let me know whether you're team Chablis or you're team California oak Chardonnay. Either way, no shame. I respect your taste buds and your preferences, or maybe you enjoy both of them on different occasions. You guys, if you like this video, make sure to give it a like down below, subscribe to my channel for weekly wine content coming your way, and then my Instagram handle down below will give you a little glimpse of my personal life together with the usual wine content as well. What I'm also curious to know, if you don't mind, down in the comments below, let me know what you would like for me to film videos about, any specific topics. I have my own ideas, but if you ask, I always deliver. So please drop those comments down below. As always, I tell you life is way too short to drink bad wine, so please don't. Stay curious, stay sipping, and until next time, cheers everyone.